advice would you give people walking away watching this film?
Have a whiskey beforehand.
Right.
Good advice.
You're going to need it.
Oh, that's
Drink
great.
responsibly.
Oh,
Right, to
hey,
calm-
Captain Square, thanks
to
anyway.
calm the nerves, right?
Yeah, to calm the
Yeah,
nerves.
Right.
You'll be on the edge of your seat in this jaw-dropping event, right?
Absolutely. And don't bring popcorn.
Don't bring popcorn, yeah.
Because
Yeah.
you'll bother
everyone will
everybody
hate
around
you.
right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And you'll be loathed by the rest of the audience.
That's
No
great.
talking, no snacks, right?
No.
No snacks.
Yeah.
This is your rule in general.
In
at home.
general, yeah.
Yeah. All right, Kill.
Next.
Okay, this is for you, Emily Blunt. The question on everyone's minds: who would survive longest in the quiet apocalypse? Mary Poppins, Rita.
Have you seen any of my films? It's pronounced Vrataski.
Rita
It's an
Vrataski.
enormous successful movie.
I love
called
that
Edge
character.
Of Tomorrow.
Yeah, that was
Yeah?
yeah.
Keep going.
Or Emily Charlton from The Devil Wears Prada. I saw that.
I feel like, well, Rita Vrataski would do very well with that big helicopter blade. She'd bludgeon a few creatures, so she'd do
I hear it's
pretty
a
well.
great movie.
Mary Poppins is magical, so she'd probably get a way out of it. Or she'd kill one of them with an umbrella. Also handy.
And what about Emily
Charlton from The Devil Wears Prada, you haven't seen that, have you?
I did see that one.
you seen it?
Yeah, it's pretty
She
good.
wouldn't do well. She would not do well, I don't think.
Why?
Because she's loud and obnoxious, so I
Of
think she wouldn't
course,
do well.
that
And
makes
she has
sense.
high heels, and that wouldn't fare well. So, Millie, what was the reaction like from the deaf community for the first film?
I think the deaf community is very happy with it because, well, we have a deaf coach on set to make sure that we were all signing and articulating clearly. And I think that was a reason that they were very happy about it. I hope they're happy with what we have to offer.
Who was better at signing, me or John?
I think you, Emily. Yeah.
Do you remember what you called me on set, though? Baby signer. You said I was like a baby
Oh,
signing.
I did. But you still sign so cute.
That's my favorite. She used to
Yeah.
do that to me all the time. Whenever I'd sign, she'd be like,
It's so cute.
Is this Miss Baby?
no, cute.
Oh,
like cute. Yeah.
That's baby.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So, for you two, Cillian and Djimon, you're very new to this story. What did you do to get to know your characters?
You grew
Me, absolutely nothing. I ventured into the story very, it was an adventure. It was an exciting idea of going on to a film, which stories I had no idea,
It was a leap of faith.
It was a total leap of faith, and it was all the faith was on based on the first film, the success of the first film, and obviously, the director John, and that was
Where is
wonderful.
he?
Where is he?
Yeah, where's John?
Yeah.
Where's John?
Yeah.
Go on, Kel. How did you get into character, Cillian?
Well, I spent a lot of time not shaving.
Or showering, which was gross.
No,
but,
I did
yeah, no,
shower.
you did.
Come on, that's all.
Very fragrant.
Always. Well, we talked a lot, John and I, about, I guess, the backstory of Emmett. A lot of which is, you don't see on screen, but was kind of pertinent to the story and the fact that there would have been a relationship between Emmett's family and the Abbotts, and that would have informed, obviously, the relationship when they meet again. But the fact that he is a completely different character, like unrecognizable, physically and sort of psychologically, because of the result of trauma and loss and everything. So we spent a lot of time talking and picking hats. Okay, for Emily and Millie, how was this set different from the first film? And how is John different as a director, seeing that he's not in the film as much as the last time?
John lost his mind on this film, so he was altered. No, I'm kidding. He was. How is John different? I think because the film is bigger and more ambitious, and the world expands. Really elaborate, big action set pieces. I think it was much more beneficial for us to have him behind the camera, just because of what he had to orchestrate and conduct, and his attention to detail could just really fly with this one. So I think that I realized it was almost more intimate working with him before, because I was often in the scenes with him, and this time he was very much sort of running it, and conducting it. And the other differences, I guess, if the first one, the energy of the first one, it was similar to this one in many ways, even though it felt more intimate. It was one set, one location, so it was very intimate. It was very insular, and we do expand. There's like huge new locations, and the world is just a much bigger and more daunting and more heightened place for this family to now have to survive. So I do think it has the kind of muscularity and tension of the first one, but it's just bigger,
I agree. I think that it's the difference between the locations of the first and second one is it also had so much to do with the emotional intensity, how much action. It was so much more physical.
Yeah.
And you saw that in this one. And now it's a family without a home out on a journey, and you're just waiting to see sort of what's next. The fears that they face, their monsters, also their changing relationships within the family. And John, as a director, I just felt like, I felt the same way you feel, Emily. I felt that it wasn't a big change because we already had been working together from A Quiet Place. I knew what he needed from us, and we know how to communicate with each other very well, so that part was already there.
Yeah.
Let me ask you, do you think that it's...
Are you going off script right now?
Oh, I guess I was.
Come on, bring it. Bring it.
I just wonder if the idea of making, certainly working with your husband and certainly making a film that originally, kind of like Cillian said when we were doing our interviews, the origin of filmmaking is silence. And was it so much more challenging for you to be in a film in which it's not dialogue driven, but more emotional driven, body language completely driven?
I think honestly for me when I watch films, the moments that I find lasting and most impactful is almost the space between all the dialogue anyway. I find that I'm more arrested by less in a scene, and it's not to do with verbal gymnastics, it's often to do with the space between people anyway, and that's what I love to watch. So for me, as long as the stakes are just through the roof, which they were in the first film, they certainly are in this film, I could watch people stare and look at each other and try and survive in silence till the sky goes dark.
And I remember, John was very keen on, there's not that much dialogue, obviously, but he was very keen on, if we wanted to cut stuff, he would cut it, man, and just do it, non-verbally, which was great freedom and very exciting for us to do, particularly in those big scenes, to try and communicate this, even when they could really just about whisper, to try and do it without it.
Yeah. There's so much to play, there's just so much at stake, there's so much to play, so I think the dialogue
That's
was
what I
almost
mean. I
just
feel like
unnecessary.
when you're with less dialogue, you're so much more compelled to do so much more to convey the emotion rather than just simply say how you're feeling.
Yeah,
For sure, man.
it's true. Do you miss your beard?
That's
That's not the question.
Is
but,
that?
Yeah.
Well,
Like when you shaved it, did you feel a bit naked?
No, do you know what's funny, Millie? What was the sign that you had for me? Remember, it had something.
Old?
Old guy with beard. Remember it had some.
Your sign name is this, Cillian, because of your beard. That's the sign for
Do that,
beard. So we
Cillian.
gave you the C with a beard. So that's your
C
name
with a
sign.
little hairy C.
A little hairy C.
Little hairy seed.
Yeah, well, it was.
do
It was. Do I miss it? No. And I remember. Don't you remember that they had to make like a fake? They had to make this very expensive fake beard.
Yes. Out of a squirrel, I think they were. Yeah.
which we never used in the end.
used.
It was sort of lying around in quite a disturbing way.
Ominously.
Yeah.
No, I have a proper question for you. If you had to choose which post-apocalyptic world you'd rather live in, would it be the one featured in Quiet Place 2 or would it be 28 Days Later?
Oh, man. I mean, I think I'm going to answer this in a serious way because it's the only way to do it. I think that there's obviously some sort of thematic overlap between those two movies. I think they're very, very different. The thing about this movie, though, is my character. Again, these are spoilers, but the character is in a state of grief, you know, because he's lost everything. You know, he's lost his family. The character in 28 Days Later, I think, had a lot of hope. Do you know what I mean? Even though I can't really remember it because it's almost 20 years ago. But that's what
You were drunk.
I was very, very drunk. That's what I seem to remember. But again, I think you know, the two. What was the question again?
Which world do you think you'd fare better in?
Oh.
Or would you prefer to live in? A world with hope?
Yeah, I mean, the zombies work. I guess seem to be easier to.
Well, the creatures
Friendly.
are rough in
Can't
this.
get them.
In this?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're rough. That's why we need her.
I know. It's like.
She's the
Yeah,
answer.
here
She's
I
the
am.
weapon.
I think if I had her in 28 Days Later, as a buddy, then maybe, you know,
28 Days Later.
it would have been a shorter movie.
Millie.
I've never seen 28 Days Later. I'm so sorry.
God, you
Now
were
I have
so
to
No one
watch
has.
it.
born
No
then.
one has. I'm sorry.
Okay, I'm not the only one. Okay, is this for everyone? Did you see any scary movies before you prepared for this role? Did you watch other movies?
Oh, specifically before starting this one? No, because I thought that the horror in this one is quite different. It's quite very fashionably different than you know, the other scary film like Shining, like, you know, yeah.
What about you?
Well, I remember, what was our brilliant, talented production designer called?
Oh, wow. Harsh.
What was his name?
Jess Goncher.
So he designed a lot of the Coen Brothers
Yes.
movies, right? So John had told me to watch a movie I'd seen before, but not for a few years, No Country for Old Men.
Yes.
Which bears no sort of narrative or thematic similarities with this movie, but sort of in the look of the movie,
Yeah.
and the sort of
Atmosphere.
the atmosphere,
Yeah.
and the way it was going to be lit, and the
Yeah.
and the style of how he wanted to shoot it, and it's a masterpiece of a movie. So I remember watching
And
that.
pretty spare, actually, when it
Really
comes to
spare.
dialogue and music.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and I remember rewatching it and just absolutely adoring it. I think it's one of John's favorite
It is,
movies.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
so that was one I watched again. And
Did you see Jaws?
Well, I mean, I've seen Jaws.
Jaws was a big influence. So I watched No Country again, and I watched Jaws again, but just because it's a pleasurable experience for me to watch Jaws because I love it so much.
Have you've seen Jaws, right, Millie?
No.
Yeah, you got to watch that.
Oh, I'm
You've got to watch
sorry.
that. You will
Okay.
love it.
I
You
will.
And like
Yeah.
28
Really
Days
will
Later
love
is
it.
pretty
It's
good too.
suspenseful.
Shameful.
That's a plug.
Thank you so much. Enjoy Quiet Place Part 2, and please get your tickets on Fandango.
Yes, two, just like that.